If a house ever talks back to you, don't answer it. When 22-year-old Clara Morgan moved into her cheap rented house in Bakersfield, California, she thought she'd hit a jackpot. $400 a month, quiet neighborhood, and an old-school charm. But on her first night, while unpacking, she heard it, a whisper through the vent. "Don't close the door." She froze. The voice was calm, not threatening, almost worried. She laughed it off. Old pipes, maybe. But when she tried to shut her bedroom door, the whisper came again, louder this time. "Please, don't close it." The next morning, she asked her landlord about the voice. He turned pale and said quietly, "Just keep the vents open. Always." That night, she left the vents open. But curiosity killed fear, and Clara whispered back, "Who are you?" The reply came instantly, "I'm still here." She thought the voice lived in the walls, until it moved closer. Clara couldn't stop thinking about it. "I'm still here." Each night, the whispers got more detailed. Memories, names, things no one could know. One night, the voice said her full name. Clara Jane Morgan. "Don't go downstairs." Problem? She didn't have a downstairs. At least she thought she didn't. Curiosity took over. She searched every corner, and behind a pantry shelf, she found a hidden door. A cold draft blew through, carrying the faint smell of metal and mold. When she opened it, a staircase led into the dark. Her phone flashlight flickered, but she saw something carved into the wall. Answered too. Suddenly, the vent behind her hissed. "Close the door, Clara. Now." She slammed it shut, heart racing. And when she checked her phone later, her flashlight app history said, "Light used, 3:12 a.m. to 3:13 a.m. Exactly 1 minute. But the recording app she didn't open had a file, 3 hours long. She never pressed record. But something else did. The file name was just downstairs. Clara hit play, and instantly, she heard her own voice whispering, "Who are you?" "I'm still here." Then, footsteps. Wet. Dragging. The sound of something being pulled across concrete. Then the voice again, lower now, distorted. "You shouldn't have looked." She threw the phone. It shattered against the wall, but the recording kept playing through the speaker, louder now, as if the sound came from inside the walls themselves. The vents began to hum, then scream, and through the noise one last whisper. "It's your turn to answer." The power cut out. When she opened her eyes again, the morning light was streaming in, and every vent in the house was sealed shut from the inside. The police said the house was empty, but her phone was still charging. 3 days later, the landlord called the cops. Clara hadn't paid rent, hadn't answered texts. When they broke in, they found her phone still plugged in beside the bed. The screen was black, except for one notification. Voice message saved. 4:04 a.m. It was from her own number. Detectives played it. Static. Then a whisper. "Don't close the door." The landlord fainted. Turns out, every tenant before Clara had vanished the same way. Each one left behind the same voicemail. The city demolished the house in 2024. But rumor says every year around the date Clara disappeared, a new number gets a voicemail from an unknown contact named "Still Here." The cops thought it was over, but the phone was still listening. Detective Harper was the one who found Clara's phone. When he played the voicemail, his skin went cold. It wasn't just Clara's voice. It was his own, whispering in the background, "Don't close the door." He froze. He'd never been in that house before. That night, he took the phone home against protocol. Around 2 a.m., his Alexa speaker woke up on its own and said, "New device connected. Morgan's home audio." He pulled the plug. But even with the power off, the speaker whispered one last thing. "I'm still here." The next morning, Harper's phone had a new recording file, created at 2:07 a.m. The name? Answered. It didn't need the house anymore. It just needed a signal. 2 days later, Harper's partner, Agent Ruiz, started getting calls from an unknown number. When she picked up, only silence. Until the third call. "Ruiz." A whisper, soft, dragging. "Keep the vents open." She laughed nervously. Harper, is that you? But Harper hadn't come to work. When they tracked his phone, it was pinging from Clara's demolished lot. Ruiz went there herself. Nothing but broken concrete and weeds. Until she heard something faint under the dirt. A phone ringing. She dug it up, Harper's phone. Screen cracked. Still recording. And on playback, her own voice whispered back. Don't close the door. You can tear down a house, but not a frequency. The FBI took over. They thought it was a digital virus. Something spreading through phones, smart speakers, home networks. Every agent who listened to one of the recordings started hearing the voice. In the vents, through the TV static, even behind walls. An audio tech tried isolating the sound frequencies. He filtered everything, until one deep layer remained. It wasn't a voice anymore, it was breathing. He analyzed the waveform and saw something impossible. A pulse. Like a heartbeat, every 8 seconds. He played it backward and heard one final message. We live where you listen. That night, every device in the lab turned on at once. And the lights went out. It's not a story anymore. It's a pattern. A year later, the Morgan House incident was buried in sealed reports. The city rebuilt a park over the lot. But people who jog there at night say they sometimes hear a faint whisper in the wind. Keep the vents open. On the anniversary of Clara's disappearance, a random number in every state got a voicemail at exactly 4:04 a.m. Each message the same. A single whisper. Don't close the door. And in the background, the sound of breathing. Slow. Close. Like someone standing right behind you.